Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today, I want to take a little bit of time and talk about five really cool knives, five of my favorites that are not domestically produced, that are imported. Before we get started on this quest of five knives, if you guys would be so kind and so inclined, please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon next to it. It really help me out and keep you updated with new things happen with the channel. So, five knives that are really cool that are imported. They're in no particular order. And if you don't see a knife on this list, I don't want you to think that knife is not every bit as cool as the knives on this list. I was just kind of going with a theme and I was looking at knives in my collection and I was thinking if I was going to pick a few knives out of here that were not American made to be long-term drivers, long-term riders, which would they be? I love this Max Ace Babylon V1 and M390, probably one of the smoothest button locks I have, but unfortunately it's not going to make this list. Starting with this list, I'm going to start with the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest Bowie. This little knife is a Riot made knife that I was a little disappointed with at first because I chose the Bowie instead of the drop point. Why is that important, you ask? Because the Bowie has a little less of that fuller exposed that I just flicked. So I can flick the fuller because this is set up to be a front flipper and it's a very well tuned, great front flipper. Um, Again, made by Riot, designed by Brian Nadeau, beautifully constructed knife, beautifully constructed pivot, fantastic, super sharp M390 blade. I do have another coupon book, so if we wanted to extend this video by a couple of minutes, I could show you that the Sharp by Design is very, very sharp. It has what I consider a hydraulic action and a front flipper that can't be beaten. And again, it does have this fuller that if you get in there, you can flick it. If you have a drop point, you can get more finger in there and you can have it be a much more reliable front flip. I like the shape of this blade. I like the front flipper. I like the fact that there was a time when I wasn't carrying this knife much and I was going to sell it. And I had it on Instagram for a very good price. It didn't sell. I didn't really worry about it. I took it off Instagram, started carrying it again, and I'm so glad it didn't sell because this is a fantastic knife. It is one of my favorite imported knives, and I'll call it number 5 since we're doing a number thing. But the Brian Nadeau Sharp by Design Mini Tempest Bowie. Moving on, we come to a newer knife in my collection, but that's quickly gotten a ton of pocket time. And if we're talking about imported knives that are currently some of my top 5, the Bestech Syn is one of those knives. This knife is really nice, canvas micarta, titanium, and then it's got this beautiful L-Max hollow grind blade, little jimping up here. It has various poons for you to use to get different grips, to keep your hands stable in different grips. I love the belt satin on this knife. I love the compound or the hollow grind. I love how slicey it is. You don't even hear it go through paper. And I'm a fan of L-Max. I'm a fan of Besttech micarta. Has a great milled clip. And just, I think Besttech has really upped their game. When I first saw this knife, it was being designed and was going to be manufactured by Besttech, but it was being designed by Beyond EDC. Besttech picked up that design somewhere throughout the process, and I think they've just come out with a real winner here. I saw it at Blade Show. I picked it up when White Mountain Knives got some in, so I could use my 10% discount, Javon 10, and I grabbed this guy, and I absolutely love it. I love the action. I love the size. I love the utility of it. And it's just a knife that I think will always be in my collection, and it's been in my pocket a lot lately, and that's where it's going back in right now. Moving on to number 3 for my favorite imported knives, it is the Brian Brown EDC Specialties Jaeger. This knife is no short of amazing to me. I got the flipperless version. They make one with a flipper. This one just has the fuller deployment or the thumb flick deployment. You know me, I'm not a thumb flicker. So when it's got a frame lock, which this one does, and I try to thumb flick it, I don't put my thumb in the right or my finger in the right place, and I tend to put pressure on that lock bar. And thumb flicking to me is just not natural anyway. I would much rather just give it a little flick. But this knife, guys, again, is a deep hollow grind, DLC coated blade, M390, titanium, and then the ED Specialties version has this micarta inlay on both sides. Again, it's a hollow grind, so again, it's very, very slicey. Has a great deployment hole that really grabs your finger. It's hard to fail this knife. These next 3 knives are almost all impossible to fail. But the action on this knife is superb. The size of the knife is superb. I think the fit and finish are gorgeous. I love having it in my pocket, and I love being able to cut with it. And that would be our number 3 knife, if we're counting them, which we're really not because they're all 5 really great imported knives. But that would be the Brian Brown Yeager, and it is a winner. Moving on, we come to a knife that's similar to the Yeager, but it's quite different. This is the Renegade Provisions God of Mischief. Guys, this knife is absolutely stunning. I love this knife. It has a milled titanium clip. This particular one is in black micarta with black titanium bolsters, which I think just look absolutely murdered out. It's also got a flicker deployment for the blade, and it's got a real nice front flipper. It's got a flat ground blade, DLC coated, so this whole knife is blacked out. One thing about this knife that puts it slightly over, in my opinion, from the Yeager is its contoured scales. So you've got contouring both on the bolsters, on these micarta scales. You've got this really nice pocket clip. You've got this nice finger choil. Again, you don't have a flipper tab because it's a front flipper with the finger hole deployment. And this finger hole deployment, if you can get a good look there, which I don't know if my camera will focus, it is actually step milled. So you've got a little stair step in there. So it's impossible, literally, for you to fail this knife, or anyone to fail this knife. Whether you've never front flicked a knife or reverse flicked a knife, all you have to do is get your finger in there and you can't push it through. Give a little grip on that clip and just go. And if you don't like doing that, you can come up here and get this little weld jimp that goes all the way over, front flipper, and flip it very, very easily. So guys, number 2 of my favorite badassest, what I think of as imported knives. This is also, if I'm not mistaken, this Riot made, and Besttech made in my pocket. And I think the GOM is Besttech or Riot. It's one of the two. But all 5 of these knives that are in this top 5 knives are either Besttech or Riot made. And my number 1 imported knife is a newer knife that I picked up at Blade Show. This knife is designed from EMP EDC, the OEM. It was manufactured by Besttech. It is black titanium with this really, really elegant horizontal or diagonal milling, smooth above and below the milling. You've got these bronze gold accent hardware, accent clip, and accent backspacer. This knife comes in two blade styles. It comes in a drop point, and then it comes in this kind of clip point slash tanto-y compound grind blade, which I chose because I absolutely love this blade. You've got this deep hollow grind with this belt satin here, and then you've got this smooth flat grind here at the tip to make it stronger. You've got this stone washed fuller that you can use to flick, or you can use the hole, but you can get down here much lower to flick it, get up in the hole to flick it, and it's got a front flipper that the jimping goes all the way around on. So if you're a front flipper guy, you could front flip it, but it is one of the flickiest knives and one of the most comfortable knives in hand and in pocket that I own. It is so slicey. That hollow grind is amazing. That flat is also amazing. It's thicker, but it's very sharp. I'm not getting much to work with there, but as you can tell, not only would that be a very stabby point, it's a very slicey point. And guys, the thing that really pushed me over the edge on this particular Relative, I don't know if you can see that blade steel there, but it is in Magna Cut, heat treated at about 63, and I have not put any more than a strop on it, and I've carried it until the Bestech Syn came in. I sent it away to a good friend, Miss Stabby Stokes, to hang on to it and try it out. And when it hadn't been with her, it's been in my pocket until about a week ago when the Bestech Syn came in, because I'm wanting to do a long time review on it. I love that knife, which is this knife that I put back in my pocket. Both of these knives are made by Bestech. This is a Bestech knife. This is a Bestech OEM knife. I like this knife better, but I'm loving the Syn. So guys, that is what I've got in 5 really cool imported knives. So if we count backwards, we've got the EMP EDC Relative, we've got the Renegade Provisions God of Mischief, we've got the Brian Brown Jaeger, we have got my Bestech Syn, and we have got Sharp by Design Brian Nadeau Mini Tempest. And then our honorable mention from Max Ace and Midnight Cat Studios is the Babylon V1 button lock, tall flat grind, very beefy, very sharp, very much a Slurpee saver, great action. But guys, that's what we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you agree with some of these choices. Tell me what your favorite imported knives are, or not of domestically produced knives are. And do me a favor. Look out for that guy or gal to your left. Please look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward. Love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love y'all. Peace.